Black, Educated, and Broke
is a weekly entertainment podcast
where we mix hip hop,
headlines, and all things ATL
into the success of Black millennials
in the Black culture.
Thank you all for listening to Black, Educated, and Biz Broke. It's your girl, Randi O.
What's going on, Mike B in the building?
It's Maya.
Your boy Ron back in the building, still sick of these damn Karens.
I love it. I love it. Every week. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
You know it's time to cue to take over. What's happening?
What's happening, people? Y'all,
Ooh,
you know,
y'all.
Listen, wait, we real quick, because I know when we play this show back, which I know you guys are going to hear it in the intro of the show, our special guest who we're going to interview later on, she gave us a nice beginning. I am loving it. It's setting the tone about all the protests. So, Mike B, I feel like you mostly be my news correspondent guy, because you are. Look at Atlanta protests. I was in Oklahoma this weekend, that weekend of the protest. So tell me what was going on in Atlanta.
Friday, there was a large peace rally, the Rally for Justice. It was organized by Attorney Gerald Griggs and others here in Atlanta, and they met Friday in Centennial Olympic Park. I mean, thousands of people just to honor our fallen and to prepare for what we have done well. I don't want to say best, because the results, we don't get the results that we have done, but we're just ready. We know how to protest. We know how to seek change and demand change. And so Friday, the rally kind of moved into this other crowd near the CNN Center, right downtown, right before State Farm Arena. And the protests have been peaceful. Unfortunately, Friday night we went into, it was I don't like to use the term riot, because I feel like the Karens and the what would they call the white guys?
Chad.
What we calling them? The Chads? Is that what they call them?
They do.
Feel like the Karens and Chads riot after sports wins.
Do they?
You know, the big football wins, you know, those white towns, they tear the
Especially if they
city
team
up.
lose.
I mean, they tear it up. I mean, in Auburn, when the Tigers win, they trash Auburn.
They
football.
do the toilet paper on the trees.
They toilet paper the trees.
Awesome.
We didn't have that at Langston. I don't remember that going on, but go ahead.
But,
like Q, we didn't see that at Langston, honey.
Nah, we ain't tearing up our own shit like that.
Right, that's all like wet.
But just an outcry, the outcry of the death of George Floyd. I hate to put it in these terms, but if we're going to be real and honest about it, I think, as it was the old saying, I think that was just the cherry on top.
Yeah.
And people are tired. The NAACP nationally is using the hashtag "We Are Done Dying." I use it. I think that best explains. Anybody asks, well, what's wrong? We're done dying. And as of Friday in Atlanta, that's what happened. I mean, there was looting, there was some destruction. I believe in it. The fire being set at the Minnesota precinct.
National. But hold on, before you go to Minnesota and Atlanta, because I know Q, like with the CNN Center, like, did you see that personally up close in the front, or did you just see it later on?
No, actually, one of my homies, one of the bros that I work with, he hit me up and was like, "Are you seeing this right now?" And this is kind of when it was just beginning in front of CNN. And I just tuned in. I'm like, "Dang, what's going on?" Now, me personally, I'm with the shit. So, but I got to be honest, man. I won't say I felt a type of way, but it felt a little personal because, where I work. But I understand what's going on. So I get it, man. These corporations, they got money to repair all that. The next day, we was back in business. So luckily for me, I wasn't there. I was actually working from home that day. So, it was great because, one, I would have been stuck in the building till like 3 a.m. And they were right in front of where we parked. So it was kind of hard to. You stuck. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you can join it when you finish, but it was really going down Friday. When it started, it was going down. So I haven't been down there. I have to go this week. So I guess I'll see what's going on. I know there's a curfew here, but I have a press pass and a letter.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gives me some kind of leeway in and out. But I mean, time will tell.
We'll come get you.
Get you. Maya, what was you going to say, Maya?
Huh?
You were going to say something.
I was talking about the Auburn when they was trashing the trees and stuff.
Girl.
I mean, when it comes down to Atlanta protests, I want Atlanta to burn everything down, to be honest with you.
Oh.
I'm all for it. Burn it all down. Atlanta, the city of the Phoenix. We done been burnt down before we rose up.
I didn't know y'all was the city of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. This ain't the first time we've been threatened to be burnt down. Ain't the first
When y'all
time.
got burnt, I'm sorry, I just want to know because I'm not from Atlanta. When was y'all other burned down? Like, I want to know this. I need to know this.
Google it.
Oh, Maya.
Mike, you can't represent now. You can't do that and tell them to Google
I
it.
know it was in the 19 whatevers, but I just don't know what year.
But it was the
So-
1900s, though.
There's been
Okay.
multiple riots, and when I say riots of burning down, there was a cop murder, I believe in the 60s. There was Atlanta riots there. Of course, most black cities, they did riot.
Yay.
Dr. King was killed.
Yeah.
And I believe there's another riot we had prior to that. There was another Atlanta riot. That's before our time.
Yeah, but it takes the city getting burned down in order for us to get justice or to at least be treated like we're human beings. Burn it down. Burn it all down.
Oh, Lord, go to break.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll. So as you can see, this particular show, guys, is going to be a lot of heated passion.
Yes,
Later
it
on in
is.
the show, we are going to sit down with and with Miss Marcelle Violet. Okay.
Yeah, Marcelle Violet.
And she's one of the activists out there in Charlotte. So we have a lot of information coming out later. But up next, we got my boy Ron's rundown. He's going to give us some good information about some of the people in the hip hop world who was out there protesting. So guys, keep it locked because we got a good show coming up right here on Black, Educated, and Broke.
Yes, sir. It's your boy Ron, bringing you Ron's Rundown. Nothing but that hip-hop fire and straight sports knowledge. Black, Educated, and Broke is now in the building. You should be too. Let's go.
All right, we are back here on Black, Educated, and Broke. As always, guys, you know, if you ever want to catch up on any of our shows, make sure you go ahead and check us out on iHeart, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, as well as Mike B. Which one am I missing?
SoundCloud, and we got video now, YouTube.
We have YouTube, okay? So you can go ahead and catch up at any time. Please and thank you. All right, up next, my boo Ron. Ron got the Ron's rundown. What's going on, Ron?
What's going on, y'all? To be honest with you, with everything going on, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna do a rundown, but I decided to kind of direct it towards everything that's going on and salute some people that actually got out there in the streets. First off, y'all out there protesting. YG gonna get y'all some protest music. You got a new song, it's called FTP. Fuck the police. I 100% agree.
YG. I love YG.
Thank you, YG, for coming with another timeless anthem, sir. We appreciate that. Shout out to T.I. and Killer Mike, man. They got on the news with Atlanta's mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms. And I like what both of the brothers had to say. T.I. kind of lost me with the Wakanda comment, but
Everybody got lost off that comment. But go
I
ahead.
don't know why y'all got lost. I understood exactly what my Atlanta brother was talking about. This is Wakanda. Protect
shout out
Wakanda.
to
That's right.
shout out to Killer Mike though, man, because that brother really got up there and spoke nothing but the truth. If Killer Mike ever run for office, he got my vote straight up.
You gotta move to Atlanta. Come on down here. Come on down. This is Wakanda. You don't live in Atlanta. You live in South Carolina. But anyway.
Salute to J. Cole, Wale, the OG Bun B, Trader Truth, Nick Cannon, Lil Yachty, My Son, Sue Surf, Kiki Palmer, Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics, Malcolm Brogdon of the Indiana Pacers, John Bones Jones jumped out of the streets to stop somebody from spray painting, Enos Cantor of the Boston Celtics. All these people got out in the streets. Lonzo Ball, Carl Anthony Towns, Jordan Clarkson, Tobias Harris of the Philadelphia 76ers, Mark Cuban, and the Dallas Mavericks. They were out protesting.
That's what's up.
On another note, Floyd Mayweather said he's going to pay for Mr. George Floyd's funeral. So
Big bread.
I guess he's trying to show y'all that he down for the cause too. Tired of y'all calling him a coon. And
Hey, shout out to the dude, real quick, that dude from Insecure. He got hit with the bullets.
Man,
Okay.
damn rubber bullets, bro.
Man,
Oh
he
my
was, what's the guy
gosh.
from Insecure?
And how to
his
get away
name
with
is Nate.
murder.
His name is Nate on the show, but I don't know his real name.
I can't think of his name. Yeah.
They gonna fuck around and kill some of them. You're not supposed to headshot nobody with them shits, man.
Right, they are.
His name is Kendrick Sampson.
Yeah.
And he fine.
His eyes are nice.
You so offset.
We ain't, okay, man. Next.
And
All
I
right.
appreciate my black men, okay?
How you
Anyway.
doing?
I wanna wrap this up by saying, fuck Drew Brees. Thank you, Colin Kaepernick.
Hey, but can we shout out Eric Reed, man? He was trolling NFL teams this past week on Twitter, especially what was the Blackout Tuesday, and everybody was standing in solidarity with that movement. But Eric Reed's retweets with the comment was Blackball Tuesday, and I loved it. I gotta shout him out, man. I hope an NFL team pick him up.
Okay, guys. Well, as Mike has said all of that, and Drew, oh, Jesus. Well, we can get all this information. If you want to know more about it, follow us on social. Ron is doing a lot of our BEB podcast _ATL, Twitter, but he got his own Twitter. What's your own Twitter, Ron?
At MRFYPM.
All right, guys. So we're going to take another break. When we get back, we're about to get serious. Mike B, what is the thing she says? Power something. What is it?
Does who say what?
Our special guest. She says it's power. She says something before. What is it called? You would know.
I have no idea. I say peace and power.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out later. But like I said, coming up next, we have our special guest, Marcelle Violet of Charlotte, North Carolina, who's one of the activists in our Black Educated and Activism segment. It's going to be good. You do not want to miss it. She is dropping gems. She is giving us knowledge. She is giving us empowerment, and we appreciate it. So keep listening to Black Educated and Broke. All right, and we are back here on Black Educated and Baroque. Thank you, Ron, for the rundown. Guys, like you said, you can find all this information on our social media pages at Black Educated and Broke. So as I've been speaking about earlier, we have an amazing guest who's going to be coming onto the line. We have Miss Marcelle Violet. Let me introduce her as I bring her into, because guys who are listening, we're actually doing this on a video medium Zoom, and I'm going to bring her on in the show. So just so it'll make sense to those that's just listening. Okay. And she's joining us. Stand by. Greetings, Marcelle.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you wonderfully.
Phenomenal.
Okay, can you see all of us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So I was just before I brought you in, I was teasing that, hey, I'm going to bring in Marcelle. We're going to talk a little bit more. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for your time. It is very much appreciated.
Oh, I appreciate y'all for having me.
Okay, now I went over your bio. I love it. So I'm just going to read it as is, because whoever wrote it did a phenomenal job, and I don't want to mess that up. Okay. So are you ready, Marcelle?
Yes, I am.
Is it Marcelle Violet?
It's Violet.
Marcelle Violet. I don't know why I got to be extra, but I just love how it sounds, so I got to say it extra. All right. So anywho, so here's a little bit about Miss Marcelle. She's a 30-year-old, come on, young woman, 30-year-old, unapologetic, Southern, Haitian American. Yeah, take all of that in. She's a reluctant educator and community organizer advocate. She has been providing community support in some capacity or another since she's been about 16 to 17 years old. She has a Bachelor of Arts in sociology with a double minor in international studies and anthropology. brain, sis. Okay, but she ain't done. Then she has a master's, in Africana women's studies. Did I say that right, Marcelle?
Yes, you did.
Yes, okay. And that where her research, guys, was actually focused on Black women's, particularly Black trans, queer, gender, non-conforming feminine people, personal narratives as tools for collective liberation ranging from enslavement to the digital age. Oh, I love that. It was a lot to take in. I'm loving it. She has worked in education, behavioral health, family reunification, and more. And as of right now, she's an apprentice herbalist and an apprentice urban farmer. Let's get into it, Marcelle. In her first time getting tear gassed and shot at by riot police was not this weekend. Y'all, we got to make some noise for Marcelle Violet.
Yeah.
Peace and power, sister. Peace and power.
I hope I did that justice, Marcella.
You did.
I mean,
Thank
Marcelle,
you.
excuse me. Yes, okay, because I was like, So, first of all, I just want to say, wow, like, first of all, you are one educated sister. Like, all the things that you studied seem like they were difficult things that people would choose to study when they go to college, but you surpassed it, you graduated, you have a degree in it. Tell me, what kind of accomplishment did that do for you?
It really attuned me to my needs of the community, seeing that I've been rooted in my community since like basically for half of my life. I knew what I wanted to study. I knew what I was seeing, and I knew I wanted whatever I'm researching, whatever educational pathways that I had, to be able to be directed by that, what is happening in my real world, and also be able to apply it wherever I go. If I'm a bird in the sky or a fish in the ocean, I want to be able to be adapted to that environment, or at least be able to be attuned to the needs of that environment and the people there.
Okay, I love that. Just straight to the point, boom. So then I want to know, because of the thing that you studied, is that how you got into want to be an activist? Tell us, how did you get started in getting into that?
Well, actually in high school, I've always had a mouth. I've always had a mouth. Let's even bring that back further from beyond high school. It's really my parents. My parents were not activists or organizers. My father is Haitian. My mother is Southern Black American, and they never held back with both histories. As a child, and I'm the middle of three, we went to plantations. We saw all the pictures. We read the narratives. Our parents told us flat out our history, the good, bad, and the ugly. And also that not to make us feel like we didn't have anything, but to let us know that this isn't our fault, first and foremost, and that we have literally came this far off of our own will and work. And that really grounded me in pursuing outside of the normal school system the information that I needed. A lot of times I brought up subjects during history class as a child that the history books didn't even bring up, and the teacher would have to address it in class because I addressed it. You're not about to talk about the civil rights movement without talking about Emmett Till. And here I am in high school bringing up these things. And I was not the favorite of any of these teachers or students. But, in high school, I ended up getting connected with an organization with the Urban League of Charlotte. And that's called the Charlotte Coalition of Social Justice. It has been defunded. So it is to note that the Charlotte Coalition for Social Justice has been defunded for several years. And through the Charlotte Coalition for Social Justice, the youth activism portion, that's pretty much what really got me in high school to getting used to that work, the language, the praxis, and the theoretical frameworks that kind of get us like how movements were made, not just the events that were catalysts for the movements. So it's the historical and socio-political contexts of these things. And so I would say that additionally radicalized me, being able to go to things like Anytown, which is like an activist camp for kids. And moving forward, like when I went to college, or undergrad, I kind of stayed back a little bit while learning. But then, of course, right at the tail end, I graduated in 2012. What happened? You know, you're talking about
Trayvon.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much pushed me right back in. And from moving forward from that, it's, you know, just continuing to be unafraid and to seek out organizations and collectives of people that really align with my politics. And if it didn't align, I learned about it and I move forward. So I just keep getting in where I fit in, really.
I love it.
Yeah, that's really dope. Just sitting here listening to someone close to age as the rest of us, so involved with the movement at such a young age, man. I mean, at 15, I had no idea. Yeah, we get the lessons on what's going on and slavery and Jim Crow. We get all of those lessons, but it's I didn't have the in-depth knowledge that I've gotten in my later years by doing my own research. Right? I'm not sure how familiar you are with Freedom School, but I was a product of Freedom School, and I was an intern with Freedom School. And when we go to our national training, which is on Haley Farm, which is Alex Haley's family farm, where he grew up and everything, was like we would get the Angela Davises and of course Ella Baker started it back in the day with the original Freedom Schools. They had all kind of activists that come and talk to us, and I'll be honest, I took it with a grain of salt. Like I've always been pro-black, I always listened to it, been on top of it, but I did not absorb the information that they were giving me like I should have. And you young, you do that, but now I'm like, man, this is what they were saying to me. So kind of going back to your start, has anything triggered your want to continue in this field? Maybe you experienced something, maybe not even as a child, but later on. I know you talked about being tear gassed and shot at, but have you experienced any profiling that you can speak on for us?
When you said Haley Farm, it's funny because I am also a product in terms of my my organizing, popular education in Highlander in Tennessee, and a lot of the people who are it's usually Highlander or the Haley Farm, but yeah, definitely I've heard of that. But in terms of like profiling and things like that, I have. We end up thinking later in life a lot of times of the microaggressions and macroaggressions that we endure. I mean, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm mostly in the part of town that I'm in. I was dealing with mostly white kids, and those folks were not my friends, except for a handful of them, and I dealt with that mess with my colleagues in class, the other students, teachers. Mostly it was because I had a big mouth and a Black woman with a big mouth and who was unapologetic regarding my brilliance. And that was really offensive to a lot of people.
Stop right there, Marcelle, because I want to keep them on the edge of their seat right there. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We are here with the Marcelle Violet. Velo. Okay, Velo. All right, thank you. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, guys. Velo, thank you. I'm gonna get it right. Marcelle Violet. We're here with her right now. I'm gonna call her a well-known, unapologetic Black woman who's also an activist who are making changes. So, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna get back into this interview and her finish telling something that you just don't want to miss. So keep listening here, right on Black, Educated, and Broke.
The movement continues.
Everybody want to be a rapper, but don't nobody want to rap. Well, we're going to give you a chance to rap on Slap It or Dap It. Send us your music, your MP3 to blackeducatedandbroke@gmail.com and we'll play it. What's even better is we're going to invite you to the show and then you can show the world and us what you got. You think you got what it takes? We're going to see.
All right, and we are back here on Black Educated and Activism. That's actually our segment for our sit-down interview with Marcelle Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Marcelle is beautiful too. I'm gonna give Marcelle for show. But anyway, we're back here sitting here. And before we took our break there, and shout out to our shout out to those who have been really supporting Black Educated and Broke there and buying commercials, putting your ads out there. We appreciate your support, and you're going to appreciate them new clients you're about to get from us. You're welcome, okay? But yeah, guys, but before we went ahead and took that break, we were sitting down with Marcelle. We're asking her the question, was there a particular incident that made her want to become an activist because she had already dealt with being tear gassed as well as being shot at by riot police? So go ahead, Marcelle, as to what you were saying.
So yeah, I was already a target growing up because I'm a Black woman who was fearless or is fearless in her brilliance. I never sit here and will tell somebody that I'm not something that I truly am just to make other people comfortable. So that, especially when you're dealing with white supremacy, patriarchy, whatever you want to have it, that makes you a target because how dare you be you, and wonderfully so. And there was not a particular moment in time that said, I want to do this. I've always been a bully beater. I'm just going to say it just like that. Anybody who was bullying kids in school, things like that, I was coming to the defense and the protection of people who were smaller than me. And that's just part of the role that I've always played. So it never was just one thing. It's a combination of my home education, my personal education, and my personality that really led me down this path. If you want to know when the first time that I was shot at by riot police and tear gas, it was in 2016 during the Charlotte uprising when Keith Lamont Scott was murdered by CMPD. And I was actually living in Atlanta during that time, studying for my master's degree. And I came back home because I was like, my home is in turmoil. I gotta help, even though there's people that I love and trust, my movement family, handling stuff and holding it down. I had to go on ahead and get mine, take care of my family that was at home in the way that I knew best. And that's to help. And I didn't say this wasn't the first time that I got shot at and tear gas to be provocative. It's like, this isn't my first time being in the thick of it. It won't be my last, most likely. And it's not necessarily a badge of honor because it's traumatizing. I have been diagnosed with PTSD because of movement work. And I've had to live with that. My sister even told me, she was like, you come back a little weird every time this type of stuff happens. And I'm like, yeah, but I just got to do it.
So let me ask you, if I can interject, let me ask you a question really quick then. So with the people that are protesting now, so you as someone who's done it, you've been a part, you kind of spoke about how there's mental illness that has stimulated from that for you, unfortunately. What do you want to say to people that are out there protesting now? What are some things that they should do, that they shouldn't do? What are some reinforcements you may have?
There is nothing that's going to prevent you from getting PTSD. It's literally post-traumatic stress disorder. You are going to sounds, smells, experiences, even driving through your own city is going to be different. A place that you were comfortable in is going to remind you that you are not safe there. You may have panic attacks, things like that. All that I can really say is just really keep community and be honest and vocal about it and cry it out. Protest is actually a form of collective mourning. It's a big funeral. All the things that you see during a funeral is what you see at a protest, especially a Black funeral. All that screaming, hollering, crying, fighting, all those things. You're like, man, these people cut up every single time somebody dies. That's a protest. It's a collective form of mourning. It's the same thing. And we as a family just need to hold each other together in that moment. And Nothing is going to prevent it, but it can be mitigated by how you hold yourself and your community. Like, do you have support? And also get help. Don't be out here traumatizing people just because you're traumatized. Don't do that.
Okay, go ahead, Mike B. I saw you was about to say something.
Oh yeah, you know I'm ready. I want to talk about right now. The movement now has, y'all have heard over the last few years, they're calling it the new civil rights movement, just the Black Lives Matter movement. But we've been on a movement, I can surely say, with the death of Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis in 2012. But the movement now, what are you guys doing in Charlotte? What are you guys experiencing in Charlotte? Here in Atlanta, it's all over the place as far as what people are trying to explain, what people are seeing, different point of views from APD as well as people downtown. But other cities are being met with peaceful protests, are being met with just this brute force, just excessive force. What are you guys seeing in Charlotte?
I mean, it's the same thing. Charlotte just got in trouble for them cutting up last night. CMPD did. It was on the Washington Post. You can check their Instagram. It's called kettling. That is actually how I got tear gassed and shot with those pepper bullets and rubber bullets in 2016, is through that military tactic called kettling, or people are now trying to call it something else like corralling and things like that. It's literally whenever they lure and trap you into a place where you cannot run, and they just barrage you with projectiles, flashbangs, all that other stuff like that.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's what CMPD does. The first time that they have done it was not yesterday. I saw it on Sunday. Jacked me all the way up because I actually saw it from the back end and actually watched people, because I was doing first aid and medical support, watch them trap people and then throw flashbang grenades. People are running, screaming. There's children. And this is in downtown Charlotte. Nobody who's experienced that could ever drive down that street and not remember and smell and hear all of that. Because the thing is, what people don't tell you is after they deploy those chemical agents, they linger in the air and on the ground in the dust. So people will be sneezing in that area for days.
Wow.
Afterwards. They won't tell you why. And if you look down on the ground, you will see those little projectiles and little broken bits and pieces of that. I picked them up there on my Instagram. I found 2 whole pepper bullets that they use. So it's the same over here. They got in trouble for it. Everybody in city council got cussed out probably about 2 hours ago. And, you know, our mayor, Violet, who's the same ding-dong who invited the RNC to Charlotte, which just got pulled by Donald Trump. She didn't come out from what I was able to see on the live quite yet. And there's a lot of accountability that's needed. And CMPD, they know what they're doing. Don't let anybody lie to y'all and say that this is the first time that they did this tactic. They do it all the time. They've been doing it for years.
Okay, well, let me just interject in here, Marcelle. Like, first of all, girlfriend, you have put us up on game. You have taught us things that I know I did not know about. Definitely gave me a new perception on some things. So thank you for the enlightenment. I do just want to kind of, because I know we're getting ready to, you probably got some things to take care of. I know because you're out and you're active, being an activist with many different people. I want to ask you about upcoming events, if that's including any protests or anything that they're trying to do for the community, anything coming up?
The struggle continues, so there's always going to be something. There's nothing really specifically because it's kind of like moving with the will of the people. Yeah. But the only thing that I could say is donate. If you got some extra scratch, donate money to bail funds. Yes, they actually work. That's another thing that I do is jail support. And we go out and we help people who are we bail people out, and we help people who are leaving the jail, make sure that any wounds are documented, take pictures of them, connect them with lawyers. We give them food. We needed to give a young lady an extra shirt because her shirt was doused in chemical agents. She had to get changed outside. They released her with a freaking paper shirt on, like what they do at the hospital. So that's what we do. There's so many aspects to this movement and to protesting that people don't even really recognize, because they just see people moving around. They don't even see the stuff on the side to keep the people being able to move around and be nourished.
And speaking of that, I wanted to ask you quickly. You spoke on your role, but all of that? What all can people do? There's a role, I believe, that everybody can play in a protest, in this movement, in this fight for justice. Early in the show, of course, we all know about the charges now have been upgraded in Minnesota. The 4 cops have been charged, but what role can people play? We always talking about getting people to the polls. This is primary time, of course. Voting later on this year, but everybody has a role. Instead of just talking, what can they do as a part of the movement?
I would say if you don't have the bread to donate, because not everybody does. Let's keep it a buck. Especially, we are doing this in the middle of a pandemic where there's record level job loss. So engaging with activists and organizers who are actually on the ground doing the work, if you can donate, if you can even donate your time, there's childcare that is needed for people. There's food prep, feeding people.
Right.
There's people need to eat. People need to eat, even if you drop off some sandwiches or something like that. Let's see. Oh gosh, there's just so much stuff that I'm doing. Also, jail support is free. You could just sit down there and check on people. You could provide water, refreshments, things like that. You can make phone calls to your elected officials. You don't just got to wait to the polls. You need to call people and tell them, why is this happening in my community? And this is, this is disgusting. Let me tell you, older Black folks love to pull up on city council. They know, I know they're sitting up there. Go ahead and pull up on them.
Let me tell you, in Atlanta, yes, they do.
Yeah. But there's so many things that we can do, including like be smart with social media. Please be smart with that. Don't spread misinformation. But, I know it's about that time, but there is one last thing that I would like to say, and it's something that I wrote today because it's been heavily on my mind about this time. Do I have enough time to say it?
You sure do, because I was going to ask you to do a segment that calls In the Church Said. I was going to have you give us something to say, so this is perfect.
Wonderful. All right.
Hold on, let me tease it. 3, 2, hold on. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
It is not simply about being willing to die for the new world. It's also about being willing to live for it too. We need living people to create the world we have been envisioning. Ideas, theories, praxis, morals, and even your own words can and will be corrupted after death. Once you die, you have no control over your legacy. Life is necessary to carry us forward. We cannot leave our future in the hands of people who could have participated in making this world better, but instead opted to wait until freedom fighters not only cultivated the land, but also fertilized it with their bodies. The bodies of freedom fighters littering groves, so cowards at best, opportunists at worst, can name the land after those who have fallen, mint them heroes of the past colony, and use their legacy as batons against dissenters, all while gleefully consuming the fruit of our labor, inoculated and made sweet by our assay. Don't only be willing to die for this, be willing to live for it too.
Amen.
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 Ashe.
Hey, that's the word right there.
That's it.
That's the word.
Well, yeah, we want to thank you so much for that, Marcelle, and everything that you have given us in this time today. If people want to follow you, because I'm sure they're going to want to, since you talk about your Instagram and what you got going on, let us know how we can follow you.
All right. Well, Instagram, I'm starting to get back together on that one, but it's Grits and Griot, because, I'm Southern and Haitian. It's GRITSN, like the letter N, GRIYO, Grits and Griot. And my Facebook is just, my name, Marcelle Violet, MARCELLE, V as in Victor, IELOT. Hit the follow. I don't know strangers, so I'm not going to necessarily be adding all that. I went viral a couple years ago, so I learned not to add a whole bunch of random people. But
Okay.
yeah, that's
Well, no,
pretty much it.
No, thank you, girl, especially for the articulation and the breakdown. So, guys, we'll have all of that on our social media pages. We appreciate you so much for your time. Keep making a difference. Keep being that loud voice, because people like you are going to help us move this thing forward, and you are very much appreciated. All right, guys. So we're going to take another break. When we get back, we're going to jump into, I don't know. We're going to talk about maybe a Jackass of the Week. Wait for it right here on Black, Educated, and Broke.
Peace and power, my sister. We'll talk soon.
All righty. Thank y'all so much.
Black Educated and Broke is a weekly entertainment podcast where we mix hip-hop headlines and all things ATL into the success of Black millennials and Black culture.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that interview just as much as Ron, Maya, Mike B, and Q did. We really appreciate Marcelle. Guys, she dropped all of her social media. Please follow her. And anytime she gives information that is going to be empowering to you, I will be sure to keep that going. We really appreciate her and her activism. So keeping that same flow about, Black Lives Mattering, protesting, and people who are not of color doing things foolishly, that leads us to Jackass of the Week. And my boy Q got this sewed up.
Ooh, yeah. Who these contenders? I got to hear this.
Should I name all of them?
Sure.
How many you got? You got to have at least 15.
Oh.
It's going to feel like 15.
That's what I'm ready for. I hit Q up early in the week, y'all. I was like, man, who Jack? I said, listen, I already got your contender number one. Here you go. Right?
Man, listen, I don't even feel right giving him that much credit, to be honest with you. Man.
I got you.
I really don't. But I am going to name everybody that I got Jackass of the Week for, but I'm only going to touch on some of them simply because I feel like they're a little more important, So here's my list, starting with the Minneapolis Police Department. They're first, all right? Louisville Police Department. We got Atlanta Police Department. We got the Kansas City Police Department. We also have Donald Trump. We have Attorney General William Barr. I have the news reporter who saw that white lady leaving out of that store with them belongings and said maybe she's an employee. We also have clout chasers, i.e. the people who are standing in front of damaged buildings to take pictures. Absolutely. Or that stupid girl who be antagonizing campuses, who asked that Latino brother to hold his nail gun so she can act like she was doing something. We have that guy who's not funny, and I know y'all my people, he from Atlanta, but Desi, he's on my list.
What he do?
B. Simone is also on my list.
B. Simone, wait a minute. What they do?
The culture mad with them.
all of them.
Oh, okay, you got to give me a little something what happened for people who do not know.
I'm about to, Randy.
Okay,
you got so excited for B. Simone, though.
I did get excited. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about, for sure, Louisville Police Department because they killed another black man, and it's kind of getting overshadowed because of what's going on. But he was known affectionately as Barbecue Man.
Mm-hmm.
They killed him during the riots. And not one of those police officers had their body cam on.
They did not.
Not one. Which is strange.
Very.
What were you trying to accomplish? So, and then a few hours ago, it was just released that apparently he had a gun and they heard a shot fired.
You mean earlier this week it came out, right? Go ahead.
That's all alleged. Also, we give Donald Trump too much credit, but we also give him a lot of flack. So this week he had the military and police to gas, what do you call them people? Peaceful protesters. So he could make his way down the street to a church for a photo op. Now, when it first came out, it came out that he was the one who gave the order to do so. But actually, Attorney General William Barr gave the order to do so. But he gets his orders from the president, so he's still just as guilty by association. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. You have people who are peacefully protesting. They're not harming anybody. They're not causing any damage. They're trying to raise awareness of what's going on in the world and in the community with our brothers and sisters being killed for no reason. And you clear them out so you can walk to a church, hold up a Bible, not pray, not acknowledge the church, but for clout. Essentially, that's what he was doing. I think that's absolutely despicable, and it's disgusting that you treating people like America's looking like a third world country to me. Like we've grown up and we've seen videos of war in other countries. We're looking just like them now. We have a dictator in office. He's not being very presidential. You would think the highest seat in the world, he would, have a little more compassion, but it's not, and it's bad. It's really disgusting on what's going on, man. So I'm all for people tearing things up. I just really hope they can get into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That'd be amazing. They can get in there and tear shit up.
Oh, but what happened? Be Simone real quick. What they do in Desi?
They was on TV. I'm not on TV. They on social cooning.
Like Shekinah and them, the same thing, crying over the stores.
See, I guess I'm in love with Shekinah, so I blew over. But she on there too. She done.
Okay, yeah. I like Shekinah too, but she was tripping.
Yeah, but yeah, Desi was saying he put a picture of this is protesting, this is rioting. Nigga, watch out, bro.
Oh,
that's not your lane. Stay up out of that.
Was he being funny?
I don't believe so. He's not funny, so I don't think he can be funny.
He was trying to show his solidarity, but he basically
with who?
He basically called protesters criminals.
Yeah, he's lame.
You the same dude that got clout off of posting hood dudes be like this and this, that, and the other, but yet when it's time to protest and to show you actually down, you calling everybody a criminal.
He do anything for clout.
What about B Simone? What she do?
Q, can I please?
Oh, she's ready. Let me change the view to speaker view.
Please. Bless us.
B Simone. Y'all know she be on social media loud as hell. You're my boyfriend. That's my boyfriend. The baby this and that. I'm the baby's wife. I love the baby. Trying to suck the baby's balls and everything. Talking about how she likes to be her man. How she likes to be down and how she wants to be sexually active, this, that, and the other dude. But yet when it's time to protest and be for your people, the same people who made you a millionaire about 2 months ago for your 30th birthday, you decide, I'm a Christian. That's not what God wants me to do. I'm going to walk in my Christianity and my faith and not protest, but y'all got it.
And then she went out there.
And then went out there after everybody came after you.
I be talking about them Christians.
I'm canceled, but I'm out here protesting. Yes, you're still canceled.
And Drewski went on TV cooning too.
No, I said it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Who?
Nah, he was on that cooning too. He didn't use that platform for nothing. He was doing some goofy shit.
Who y'all talking about?
He be putting on doing that white boy act. Maybe he wanted them for real, cause he do that shit well.
Nah, he was on some other shit. Somebody, I didn't graduate, right? That's on some stupid shit.
And who we talking about?
Instead of actually,
who we talking about? Y'all losing me.
Drewski.
Taking it serious.
Who the hell is that?
He be with Desi. Now he with Desi again.
He actually funny though.
Drewski was on the TV interview with his homeboy.
The fat light skinned dude.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
And you know what's funny? All three of them be together too. They're all three of them in the same fucking box.
I'm sick.
This is a family show.
Okay, because we are dropping F-bombs like it ain't no tomorrow. But no.
We need a pass today.
Okay, I am giving y'all a little pass, we need a little grace. But no, Q, dog, that jackass of the jackasses of the week, that was good. That was
Let me, before we got a minute left, let me hit some more on the police departments. I gave APD Jackass of the week because of how they treated the young Morehouse kid and his girlfriend when they got pulled over. Tasering them and pulling them out. And then I gave Kansas City Police Jackass of the week because that's probably one of the only cities that I saw were actually doing things peaceful. They weren't actually looting or rioting or tearing nothing up. And they started gassing them like off rip. I know one of my homies I did Freedom School with years ago. he was on the live, and all he was doing was talking, and they converged on him, walked up on him, hit him right in the face with the mace, and took him to the ground. And they weren't doing anything out of the normal being peaceful.
Oh, that's so sad. That is so sad.
But I did see some cops get ran over by SUV. I was like, hell yeah.
I seen a couple cops get their ass beat.
Okay, well, you know what? Listen, hey, we're not condoning that. We're going to wrap that on up right now. We are not condoning people, okay, doing those type of things, okay?
Our producer said go to break.
All right, so yeah, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We're going to talk a little bit Maya. She has a little update for the Mayan Empire. Then we're going to wrap up and let you know what to expect next week. So keep it locked here on Black, Educated, and Broke.
Hey y'all, what it do? It's your girl, it's Maya. So you're not doing anything right now, go over to blackeducatedandbroke.com and check out my blog, The Mayan Empire. We're waiting for your feedback.
All right, we're back here on Black, Educated, and Broke. And like I told you before the break, the Mayan Empire. We got a new blog alert. Maya, what's up, boo?
So I actually took a while to write it because I need to get my thought process together because this whole week and everything, even starting from last week, I was just so angry and mad. So I actually had to sit down and take the day and not be on social media and just actually feel what I need to feel to write this. So basically I have a new blog post on Black Educated and Broke / The Mayan Empire. And it's about Black Lives Matter. And it's basically at the end of it all saying, I'm not asking if Black Lives Matter, and I'm not saying they matter. I'm letting you know because you already know that they matter. Like, we wouldn't be on God's green earth if otherwise. Therefore, it's
none of y'all be on God's green earth.
Okay, like honestly. So it's mainly a post about taking the time to feel what you need to feel because I know like a lot of people, we're tired, we're angry, we want to protest, we want to do this, that, and the other. We want to spread awareness and just feel what you need to feel, as well as knowing that you have a right to be here. You have a right to take a space. You have a right to be breathing, living, and enjoying your life. So that's really all that post is about. Check it out. It went live about maybe 2-3 hours ago. So,
I mean, you mean it went live on, what was that, Tuesday night? Wednesday night,
like
right.
Wednesday, a few hours ago. So it hasn't been up long, but I got really raw on my feelings. I had to run it by Randy and, Mike, make sure mom and dad like it.
Hey, I told you, do you.
So yeah, that's really all it's about. And that's all that's going on. And it's your girl, Maya, and check me out.
All righty, guys. Thank you, Maya. Again, the Mayan Empire blog. Head over to blackeducatedandbroke.com / the Mayan Empire. Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and take a break and wrap up the show. It's been a pretty interesting show. Shout out again to Marcelle, for being on here. We thank you for her time. Again, we dropped all of her social media so you guys can follow her. As always, guys, if you want to listen to all of our previous podcasts, you can listen. Please go ahead and subscribe on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart. Those are our biggest platforms. And please watch and subscribe to us on YouTube. Again, our Twitter, just in case you didn't remember, BEB Podcast _ATL. Our Facebook, Black Educated and Broke, and our IG as well, Black Educated and Broke. And everything we talked about is going to be there. If you feel like you missed a spot, head over to our social pages and we got you, okay? I know my boy Mike B, before we wrap that house, something he wanted to share.
Oh, real quickly, Melanin News will be back normally scheduled when we come back together, your next episode. But I have a special news bulletin. It's on our YouTube page, social media platforms. Be looking for another one this weekend sometime as I give you updates. Got a new mayor in Ferguson. Of course, the cops were 4 cops officially charged in Minnesota. And the main cop, his 3rd-degree murder now upgraded to a 2nd-degree murder. Still looking for justice for Breonna Taylor.
Yes. And with that, Mike, I just want to take the time right now to personally give you thanks and put you on the spot because even like I said, this past weekend, I was in Oklahoma. So I wasn't in Texas, nor was I in Georgia. But when I tell you, my boy, you held it down, letting us know when the protests rang out in Atlanta, when Mayor put the curfew out, like you was very much on it and you was a big voice for our platform. And I just want to thank you personally for doing that, Mike B.
Telling our story. And if we're going to tell it, we're going to tell it right.
Amen. And on that note, it's been your girl, Randi O.
Mike B.
It's Maya.
Boy, Ron, still sick of these damn Chad and Karens.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and it's time to cue to take over. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. See y'all
we
next
out
week.
there. If y'all out, stay safe, and remember the cause. Remember what we doing this for. This is for justice. We are done dying.
Done dying.
Peace.
Hi, it's Marcelle Violet. I know times are difficult right now. Things seem like there's no end to the struggle, seeing that we keep repeating the same over and over again. But things are different now. You could see it in the air, you could smell it, you could feel it in the goosebumps on your skin when you see people around the world shouting the name of somebody who just less than a week ago that most people even knew. There is power in what we do. The power in our tongues reverberates all throughout the universe. Keep listening.